Something that bothers me is that people thinking trusting someone and caring about them are completely separate. But that is not true, because trusting someone and caring about them are related and connected to each other. Like a bird, trust is the wings that lets the bird to fly into the sky, and care is the feathers, protects the bird from the cold weather and make it beautiful. Without trust, bird won't be able to fly, and without care, not only bird will be vulnerable to the bad weather, but also loses the beauty that makes it unique. Frieren and Fern proved it in this episode. If you can't trust someone, you can't care about them. The same can be said if we reverse them as well. If you don't care about someone, you can't trust them as well. However, too much trust and care can be bad as well. For example, if you care too much, you are not going to trust that person at all. Or if you trust too much, you're not going to care about him at all. The title for this episode is Killing Magic, and the lesson is trust and care, the greatest weapon of mankind. As I mentioned in the previous video, which by the way, thank you all for supporting it, it passed 4K views. This episode has one of the most simple and beautiful topics in the entire show. And to prove it, this topic have been used in several episodes beside this one. And in each of them, there were different situations. However, in this episode, we see two different scenarios. In each, we see an example of what happens when we care too much but trust too little, and what happens when there is a balance in caring and trusting someone. The first half of the episode begins with Fern and Frieren wandering around a city, and we see Fern has grown a lot since the last episode, and holy hell, she has grown a lot. Frieren and Fern are about to going their separate ways, but Fern notices Frieren's strange behavior, or more accurately, the strange face she makes when she is hiding something. But that is not the only face we see. We also see Fern's cute face she makes when she is frustrated. And it is way cuter than manga. From the beginning of this episode, we can see how much Fern knows about Frieren, from the face expressions, from her body language, even predicting what she is up to. And this shows how much Fern cared about Frieren. One of the signs of care is to knowing someone's personality and figure out what is their next move based on the hints you find on that person's behavior, like the face they make when they want to hide something, or have difficulties to choose something, or when they're serious about something. These hints can be so obvious or so small that you won't notice. And Fern noticed there is something wrong, therefore she can't trust Frieren to not doing anything without trouble, which is completely understandable because all Frieren does is wasting money on the things they don't need. But to be fair, sometimes Frieren bought something that is actually useful, like the magical history book, the same one we saw on the second half of the episode. This was a good way to add foreshadowing for the second half. But still, out of 3 times, this only happened once, and it is completely natural to see Fern don't trust Frieren and decides to follow her to see what she is up to. This means Fern cares too much about herself and Frieren as well, and that is the reason why she won't trust her to be alone, so that's why she followed her to stop her before buying something worthless.
何フェルンも興味ある？この下品な薬買った時に私返品しろって言いましたよね。フリーレン様なんて知りません。この薬貴重だったのに。
This part proves trust and care are really good, but it must be balanced. Too much of it can be harmful, and in here we can see Fern cares too much about Frieren, but trusts her so little. And we can say the same thing for Frieren. She cares too much about Fern, and because of it, she doesn't trust herself. And to prove it, we see she is struggling to buy jewelry for Fern. And because she doesn't trust her own judgment, she also looked for a place that sells sweets to make sure if she didn't like the gift, she could enjoy her favorite snack. But the important reason, however, was to make sure she is happy. She used cafe or dessert as a plan B in case she didn't like her gift. Moving on, Fern realized there was nothing wrong to be sus about and went back to doing her tasks. At the end of the day, we see Frieren gave Juri as a gift and treated her some sweet dessert for her birthday. But Frieren wasn't satisfied because she wasn't sure if Fern liked the gift or she wanted to eat dessert for her birthday. A quick reminder that knowing someone's personality wasn't interesting, or more accurately, not important to Frieren. And because of it, Frieren didn't know anything about Fern, which makes this a reference back to the time where she was traveling with the hero party. But however, there is a difference. In her first adventure, Frieren didn't know anything about any of her party members, because she believed she had all the time in the world to know them, and she was planning to do it once she felt like to do it. However, due to the fact that she didn't care and had all the time she needed, she didn't felt like to do it. Therefore, she couldn't know any of them because she lost the time she had, which caused her to have regrets for not knowing Himmel and other members as well. For more detail, I talked about this matter about regrets on my first video, because elves believe things like a person's personality is something that is not important or interesting to begin with. To be more precise, they meet all kinds of creatures throughout their lives, and each of them have their own personality, from animals to plants to demons and humans. And because elves are immortal, they see all kinds of these creatures, and because they see so many, it becomes normal, to the point it is not special to them and not worth remembering, and they excuse themselves by saying it is not important to me, or in Frieren's case, they just don't know. However, for us humans, knowing someone's personality is completely different story, because this is a key element to our growth as a human. When we knowing someone's personality, it means that person is important to us and we want to make them happy. This shows how much we care about that person. Like Himmel and Fern, they know what Frieren wants to eat when she is at a restaurant. Frieren is important to them, to the point they can even tell how Frieren will feel after they leave her alone, like Himmel. That's why he wanted to make sure they will make statues for Frieren, so when she felt lonely, she could look at the statues to feel less lonely and keep remembering them and all the terrible memories they had together. However, I will talk about this matter more in episode 7. Back to the cafe scene, another topic that is important to talk about, and I didn't see anyone mentioning it even once, is about the true meaning behind a gift. We can see one of the other reasons why Frieren isn't satisfied, which can be said she is a little bit anxious about it, is because she is worried if Fern don't like the gift she bought for her. After all, both of them traveled for so long, and to Frieren's eyes, it would be bad if she buys something that makes Fern sad or she didn't like it at all. The true meaning behind a birthday gift isn't about getting expensive gifts or getting what that person wants. When we buy gifts, we buy something for that person we care about based on how much we know them. We buy something to tell them that we are glad to meet you, and also to tell them how happy we are that you stay with us for another year. And also there's another meaning. This is a token of our appreciation for how hard that person worked this year towards his goal. But of course, it's one of those matters that based on different people, we have different beliefs, and all of those thoughts and beliefs are respectful, such as Fern's beliefs. She believes no matter what Frieren buys for her, she always be happy and treasure that gift, because she respects Frieren for trying to get to know her, which gets us to another point. Frieren doesn't understand human emotions. For us humans, seeing someone is trying to do something is valuable. It doesn't matter if they fail or succeed. The fact that person tried is more important to us more than getting us what exactly we wanted. Now there might be a question popping up on your head. Alex, didn't she already done this for the past 9 years, like multiple times? Shouldn't she already know what to get her for her birthday? Well, yes and no. Let me explain. It is true that she should have already known what to get her for her birthday after 9 years, but the reality is she didn't care about any of this first. I mentioned it before, she didn't care at all about birthdays, about personalities, and etc. Yada. But there are two other reasons why she don't have any idea what to do. First, she doesn't know anything about Fern because she doesn't know how to understand her. Remember, she didn't care about anything at all, and now she started to actually care. She is learning about this stuff. A quick reminder, at first she done this to respect Heiter, but now she is doing it for herself and Fern, which gets us to the second reason. Fern is growing up and her priorities are changing constantly because of her age and the passage of time. Her mindset is changing, so it is only natural for Frieren to confuse and don't have any idea what to get for her. But at the end of the day, Frieren managed to make Fern happy, and Fern is happy that Frieren didn't waste any money to get trash. But of course we all know she done this multiple times, and this was the best gift Fern ever received, to see Frieren didn't waste any money for the first time. And the only thing Frieren received at this event was emotional damage. Now we get to the second part, which I mentioned at the beginning. This part is an example for what happens when there is a balance in caring and trusting someone. At the start of the second part, we see Frieren is training Fern to use the protection spell more effectively and constantly reminded her to read the magical history book to understand magic and be prepared for the future battle with one of the most dangerous demons that ever exist. We learned that Frieren had to seal this demon by the name of Qual because at the time the hero party fought him, they almost lost to his killing magic Zoltrak, a spell so strong that killed many adventurers, and now after many years the seal is about to break, and Frieren is here to finish the job the hero party couldn't finish, and that is why Frieren worked on Fern's defensive magic to make sure Fern is ready to fight this demon. Correction, to survive the battle. And thanks to all of those hard practices, not only they survived because of Fern, Frieren used Qual's enhance spell to defeat him. In the second part, we can see for the first time Frieren trusted her life to someone else, all because she cared about Fern to protect herself and others around her. In the second part, we saw two important things besides the fact that Fern protected Frieren by using the defensive spell and Frieren used the killing magic to save Fern. First, we saw Himmel after retiring as a hero. He still kept checking on the seal to make sure everything is okay, and also complained about Frieren for being cruel for not visiting him. This shows why Himmel is the greatest hero of all time, because even in his retirement, he is still protecting the people who couldn't protect them themselves. Second, which gets us to the message of this episode. Trust and care are the greatest weapons of mankind. There's a scene in this episode where Frieren explained to the demon why his spell is no longer considered as a dangerous spell is because humans spent years to develop spells and armors to protect the adventurers from this dangerous spell. This short scene shows us two important details, or in more accurate, two important messages. 1. Time can change everything, and 2. Trust and care is the strongest spell. The first one is an entirely different topic and it requires another video to explain it. The reason why the title is The Killing Magic is trust and care are the strongest weapon and spells of mankind. Without them you can't do anything, but too much of it can destroy yourself. The proof is, in this battle we see the demon trusted its own spell way too much and didn't care to improve it. And because of that, everyone managed to learn it and use it as a basic offensive spell and lost the power that made it special and got defeated by its own spell. Correction, he got defeated by his own enhanced version of his own spell. For the next video, I'm going to skip the episode 4 and talk about episode 5 and 6, and the main topic is going to be Stark, the newest member of the party, and I'm going to describe this character in entire video the same way I did for Fern and his connection to Frieren's main goal, which was to understand what it means to be human. Now, if you enjoyed this video, please leave a like and make sure to subscribe to my YouTube channel. My name is Alex, this is Anime Academia. Until another video, another analysis, Bedrut.